Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Definition, aka the Predictor that definitely couldn't have predicted the ending of this episode, because damn. So there's a lot to talk about in this drama heavy episode of Agents, and throughout this video we'll be going over our theories, predictions, and discussing the things you might have missed. Obviously there will be heavy spoilers here, so if you don't want anything ruined, then I highly recommend that you turn off now. Please drop a thumbs up if you enjoy the video, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for breakdowns on the show week by week. Without further ado, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into our breakdown of episode 6. Okay, so we open with the Chronicoms leader, the Predictor, looking over the time stream. The Chronicoms are sick of taking L's, and the Predictor, or Sibyl, discusses how the timeline always adjusts to create new and branching paths. So, though the agents may have beaten them at every single turn, that doesn't mean that there aren't new opportunities for them to change things. They do this by ominously activating all the other hunters that they have in their arsenal, and they send them after S.H.I.E.L.D. in a very, very nice twist. Now, at the lighthouse, May and Coulson have been captured, and they're taken to Rick Stoner, who... yeah, I can't not hear Joe from Family Guy when he talks. Now, whilst the Zephyr has the ability to cloak, it turns out that Stoner can track them due to an advanced system that was gifted to him by Malik. This was obviously given to him by the Chronicoms, and I love how they're pretty much equipping the past with the weapons and tech that they need to fight the agents in advance. On board the Zephyr, Mac is angered by Deke killing Malik, and to make matters worse, Daisy and Sousa are missing, and his parents are still in a cell at the lighthouse. Now, last week we said that the Chronicoms purposely chose his parents out of everyone because he would definitely save them over the mission, and from the prologue, I think they also knew that he would immediately try and rescue them, which is what the Predictor was talking about in regards to new opportunities. Malik had nothing but happy memories over the bicentennial in the original timeline, and it shows that the villains know the agents really well. I think the Predictor might link back to them in some way, and she just seems like such a weird character that I wouldn't be surprised if she was related to somebody on board the Zephyr. I actually thought that for just a split second that she might be Mac and Yo-Yo's kid, but we'll wait a while before discussing that theory so I don't look even more stupid than I do now. Speaking of Mac, Henry Simmons, who plays the character, turned 50 yesterday. Wow, and yeah, looking good, looking very good, mate. Now, other birthdays include Daisy Johnson, who in the show turns 32 on the 2nd of July, so lots of things to celebrate besides the bicentennial, and happy birthday, Henry and Daisy. I know Daisy's not a real person. Now, Mac and Yo-Yo head out to bring the pain to them for once, and the lighthouse is put into lockdown due to the Chronicoms AI. They lock onto the Zephyr and fire missiles at it, which lead to the action scene that we saw in the trailer last week. Though the agents prepare themselves for extreme G's, they're still hit, and this damages the Zephyr to the point that, if they jump again, they'll be torn apart. I'll talk about this later in the video, but it does give us some clues as to what's going on with Simmons. Elsewhere, Daisy and Sousa have been tied up, and she's unable to use her powers due to being drugged. Nathaniel shows up, and though it seems like he's part of Hydra initially, he's actually working outside of them. His goals are very simple, and all he wants to do is transfer Daisy's powers into him and Daniel's, which he believes is slower aging, but as we know, he's just been time traveling. Now, using Daniel Whitehall's theories, he's come up with a method to do this, and if you've not seen the other series, then here's a quick catch up on who Daniel is. In the Second World War, he worked under Red Skull for Hydra and was captured in 1945. The character experimented on Inhumans, and because of his work on one called Jia Ying, aka Daisy's mother, he was able to de-age himself. In the original timeline, he was freed in 1989 by Hydra and became a villain in the show. Now, back at the lighthouse, Stoner starts to interrogate Coulson and May, who try and tell him about the Chronicoms, but it falls on deaf ears. However, May, due to her empathy abilities, picks up that something is not right with one of the agents that comes to visit them, and thus they conclude that she's a Chronicom. We discover that this was her first assignment, and we learn that the Chronicoms, similar to Coulson, have found a way to upload human personalities into synthetic bodies, and thus they can control people. I love how there's a sort of invasion of the body snatchers vibe to this episode, with the Chronicoms slowly replacing all of S.H.I.E.L.D. with their own one by one. On board the Zephyr, Simmons tries to fix the control panel, but she can't remember how to do it. Now we learn that Simmons actually has a memory suppressant in her spine called Diane that will hide where Fitz really is. We learn that Fitz is monitoring everything about the Chronicoms in a location that allows him to see all that they can do, and Gemma knows that he's there, but they've hidden this from her just in case she's caught. Now sometimes when I make a video and put it live, I immediately start coming up with things that I should have said in it, and within the first 5 minutes of uploading the last breakdown, I started theorizing instantly and I've waited for a week to talk about my new theory. That is, that we still don't know the truth about Gemma. So we do know that Gemma and Fitz spent a long time working together on the Zephyr and Coulson, and yet they don't seem to have aged. I actually think that Gemma is incredibly old, and that she has in fact gained dementia, and this is why she's forgetting things. She says that Enoch was fixing her memory, and thus I think this implant is to actually help her remember things rather than to make her forget them. As for Fitz, because he's not on board the Zephyr, he's likely taking the long way round and going through all of the decades in normal time. Thus, I do think that when we come face to face with him, he will be extremely old. That's just my theory for the moment, and it would explain how Gemma isn't really aging, and I think the implant is doing a lot to her. Maybe Diane stands for dementia implant and neurotic engineer. You know they love their anagrams. But I do think that we still haven't uncovered the full truth with her. Obviously, let me know your thoughts below, but that's the theory that I'm leaning towards this week. At the lighthouse, Mac and Yo-Yo break into the former's parents' cell, and Mac hugs his mother, which his dad hilariously stops him from doing. Mac, Ulmore introduces Yo-Yo as his girlfriend, and it's a hilarious scene, even if it does kinda leave things pretty messed up by the end of the episode. He and his father end up working together because of a lock being similar to a car, and as we know, Mac worked on vehicles a lot with his brother when he was growing up. May and Coulson get to Stoner, and there's a nice little line where the Chronicoms talk about removing his face after Stoner requests it to be taken off the AI. Now, we did say that we thought Stoner would create the message that would appear in the lighthouse in the future, as people have had questions over this for a while and how exactly he knew what was going on when the message was recorded in the past. It looks like all that he was the face of the AI, and this was adapted to the agents arriving there and it created the message. So no, unfortunately, we don't get a cool moment where they tell him about the future. Now, Stoner believes them after seeing things firsthand, and Coulson descends into the basement where he comes face to face with the Predictor. At Nathaniel's barn, he begins to take blood from Daisy, and this leaves her at death's door. Sousa really cares for her and comforts her as she hangs in there, and I'm telling you, I'm shipping Sousa and Sky right now. I really want the guy to get some happiness, and I do think that they left him single for a reason. Daisy is single too, and maybe he had to get out of time to be with the one that he loved, just like how Steve did. He talks about his time on the front line and realizes that Daisy managed to hide a metal shard in her hand, which yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be that graphic. Sousa uses this to stab one of Nathaniel's henchmen, and Malik shows up with his newly acquired Quake powers. However, he's unable to fully control them, and Sousa and Daisy manage to get away. Coulson meets with the Predictor through their synthetic digital world, and she explains how she doesn't actually see the future, she just sees the past, and this is how she's able to adjust and change things so well. They want Earth to ensure the survival of their species, and the reason that they've chosen the planet is because due to time, humans act irrationally whilst alive. As Chronicoms do not face time, they act much better than we do, however, they're not willing to also do the more positive things that humans do, such as making sacrifices and never giving up. Coulson also says that dying is his superpower before exiting the VR simulation and destroying all of the new hunters that were replacing the SHIELD agents. Coulson dies again, but I mean he pretty much says that he can't die, like he actually says that, so yeah, he's coming back. It'll probably be another time jump, but I bet that Simmons has a copy of him, so yeah, I'm not too worried. Stoner tries to chat May up, who shuts him down with a level 7 body slam, and she shakes his hand, probably feeling the raging hard love that he has for her. As Mac and Co exit the base, May senses that Mac's father is a Chronicom, and to make matters worse, his mother is too. It's a completely crazy twist, but since taking their personalities, it makes sense that they were able to fool everyone so much. It turns out that they'd abducted Mac's parents for a while, and hearing his dad say that he harvested his father's skin, it's really messed up. Mac manages to kill his robot parents, and what this does to the time stream, we don't know yet, but clearly Mac's life will be very, very different. Aboard the Zephyr, everyone heals up, including Daisy, who's put into a chamber. Sousa decides to stay with her, and I'm telling you, they're gonna be together. The group jump to an uncertain future, and Mac rides out on a motorbike to go and get some air. Deke goes out to check on him, and we get another huge twist, which is that the Zephyr time jumps again, leaving them stuck in whatever decade this is. Yikes. Now, we will be talking about the trailer for next week, so if you don't want anything ruined, then I recommend that you turn off now. I have had comments in the past saying not to just jump into it, so yeah, this is your time to jump out. Now, it's going to be set in 1982, and we'll focus on Deke and Mac returning to the lighthouse and partying it up. We also see that Coulson left them a message, which means that he is indeed alive, we just don't know where. My guess is that he shows up at the end of the episode, and it looks like the Chronicoms have infiltrated the tech at the base and have made the Rocky IV looking robot turn into the Terminator. Either way, there's a lot to look forward to, and the show just keeps getting better and better in my opinion. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on the 5th episode, so make sure you comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop a thumbs up, and if you missed our analysis of any of the other episodes, then make sure you check them out after this. If you want to support the channel from as little as 99 cents a month, then please click the join button below. We massively appreciate it, and as a thank you, you get access to content early. If you want to come chat to us after the show, either follow us at Heavy Spoilers, or click the Discord link in the description below. Every month we give away free movies to people that subscribe to the channel, and this month you can win the MCU Infinity Saga box set, and all you have to do is comment on a video and make sure you subscribe with notifications on. The winner is going to be chosen at random on the 15th of July, and this set will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. Cheers.